The 2013 H1 season started off in Doha, Qatar, with Jimmy Shane and the 5 Gram Trucking taking the win and the title of world champion for the second time. Next, we moved on to Sacramento, California for the second stop of the tour, where Steve David and the number 1 Oh Boy Oberto took the top spot at the Big Wake Weekend. This week, we head to Detroit, home of the APBA Gold Cup. H1 Unlimited continues next. Welcome to Detroit, the third stop on the H1 Unlimited Hydroplane Tour. I'm Rich Hollenberg, joined by my broadcast partner Steve Montgomery. The Gold Cup thus far has eluded every current driver on the tour, including veteran Steve David. With a win in Heat 1A, Shane started out his weekend well. In Heat 1B, Ryan Mallow in the 100 Jarvis property restoration blew over, which left the team unable to compete the rest of the weekend. In the rerun of Heat 1B, Steve David hit a buoy, and the resulting penalty gave Mike Webster in the 22 Rooster Tail 55 the win. Here are the results after qualifying. Jimmy Shane tops the leaderboard with his first heat win. The national points race tighter than ever as we advance through the weekend.
Jimmy Shane over in lane 2 in great shape in the red and black Ram Trucking. We're on board on the outside boat. That's John Zimmerman in the 9 Team Red Dot, and now we're on board with Webster. Off to his left, you can see the leader, Jimmy Shane, has moved out to a lead in lane 2. On board now with Mark Evans in the 57 Fedco, back between the Rooster Tails. Shane already into the Belle Isle Bridge turn, and he built up a nice lead on the front straightaway. There you see the view from above. There is a boat to his left. That is the 37 Miss Beacon Plumbing, the orange boat, and he actually made up some water there by running on the inside of that huge turn down by the Belle Isle Bridge. Jimmy Shane onto the backstretch now, coming by the Detroit Yacht Club. He'll have that boat up over 200 miles per hour. He may see 210, 215, and he'll approach the very, very tight Rooster Tail turn. Tremendous G-forces on his body and all the hardware on the boat as the forces try to rip the rudder and the skid fin right off the boat. And look at that turn by Jimmy Shane, leaving some room on the inside. J. Michael Kelly is still in there. Jimmy Shane down to complete lap 1 of Heat 2A. Shane hoping to add 400 points here for a preliminary heat win. All the prelims here at the Gold Cup are 4 laps in length. The winner receives 400 points, as Shane did with his victory in Heat 1A. This would give him 800 on the day. After all the prelims have been run, the 6 boats with the most points go into the front row of the finals, and the winner of that heat will be the champion of the 2013 Detroit APBA Gold Cup. Shane now on lap 2 of 4. He will turn once again down on that long backstretch, bring it by the Detroit Yacht Club at very, very high speed. Meanwhile, there is a great race shaping up behind him for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Look at that beautiful boat ride in the 5 Gram Trucking for Jim Shane, the young sensation out of Havre de Grace, Maryland. His 2nd full season here on the Unlimited Circuit. Once again into the Rooster Tail turn. Tremendous forces on that boat. Look at the water off the skid fin, trying to throw Jimmy right out the right side of the boat. And here is the race for 2nd and 3rd. That's John Zimmerman on the outside in the 9 Team Red Dot. On the inside, a great turn by J. Michael Kelly in the 37 Miss Beacon Plumbing. The leader is on to lap 3, headed down for the Belle Isle Bridge, and there comes Zimmerman. He has moved up into 2nd place right now, but Kelly is still off to his left. On board with Jimmy Shane in the red and black 5 Gram Trucking. We're watching Mark Evans come through the Rooster Tail turn in the 57 Fedco, sponsored by a local Michigan company right here. On board now with the veteran out of Chelan, Washington, the Detroit Skyline going by on his left. And now we're on board with J. Michael Kelly. You saw him on the inside with John Zimmerman off to his right, and those two putting on a great race back there for 2nd and 3rd place. Out ahead of the leader, Jimmy Shane, nothing but blue Detroit River water. Coming by the Yacht Club for the third time. He'll come around to complete lap 3 and have 1 to go. If he can keep it on the water, he's going to score those 400 very, very valuable points, and he'll be well on his way to the front row in that winner-take-all final. Swinging a little bit wider now. He can use all of that turn he wants, and there's the white flag for Jimmy Shane in the 5 Gram Trucking, and here's the race behind him. Kelly used the inside, the short way around the Rooster Tail turn to take a little bit of a lead over John Zimmerman. But the white boat on the outside has boat speed. This is a great race, a great matchup in the race for second place. Points there very important too. Second place 300, third just 225. On board with our leader now down into the Belle Isle Bridge turn one more time. Overhead, you can see the lead that Shane has, and you saw the race behind him for second place. Zimmerman a little bit of a lead in that race right now. On to the backstretch for the final time here. Jimmy Shane just needs to keep it on the water. He'll use the front wing of the boat. He runs that with his left foot. He'll need to give it a little bit of downwing as he reaches the midpoint of this stretch run to keep it on the water. And look at this race for second place. Zimmerman on the outside. Kelly on the inside. Zimmerman running really, really loose in the white boat, the 9-team Red Dot. Here's the view from Kelly's boat. Off to his right now. Zimmerman moving out a little bit of a lead on him. Jimmy Shane getting a little bit loose there. Had to pedal it down. He's making his final turn as he turns it down toward the start-finish line. Here comes our winner, Jimmy Shane. He will take the checkered flag. On the inside, we are looking at J. Michael Kelly. He will get second.
Another penalty on the one Oh Boy Oberto gave Kip Brown the lead and ultimately the win.
We were just about 3 wide going through the Belle Isle, and we were still all stuck together coming down here at the Rooster Tail. And then they came across the radio and said, "Let her buck because you're running first." And I said, "Well, I'll take that."
The results after 2B sees Jimmy Shane still atop the leaderboard. Stay tuned for Heat 3A and more action from the Detroit River after this.
H1 Unlimited Hydroplane Series Racing from the Detroit APBA Gold Cup on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by Formula Boats. You've always wanted the best, Formula Boats. And by Peters & May Global Boat Transport, the world's leading boat transport provider. The 2 top qualifiers are going to have lanes 1 and 2. Jimmy Shane will have the advantage on the inside, but Steve David has tremendous boat speed in lane 2. And you see off to the right of your picture, that is the Oberto moving out just ahead of Jimmy Shane. This is going to be a great matchup as they go down into the Belle Isle Bridge turn for the first time. We're riding along with the third place boat there. That is Kip Brown in the 95, Spirit of Qatar. In the overhead shot, you can see the 2 leaders have already opened up some water on the rest of the field. And it's Shane with a little bit of a lead as they turn onto the backstretch for the first time and head down toward the Detroit Yacht Club. Shane has established an early lead here on Steve David, but David has great boat speed and he's going to use it to move right up beside Jimmy Shane. A half a lap down, they're going to run 4 laps. This is going to be a wild one. Shane on the inside, and look at Steve David and the Oberto walking it side to side, running that boat very, very loose as they come down into the Rooster Tail turn. On that tight turn, the boat on the inside has a big advantage. Jimmy Shane uses it to take the lead and expand the lead a little bit over Steve David, but here comes the veteran one more time. Jimmy Shane in only his second year here on the tour. Steve David, a veteran of many, many years, many, many victories. This, one of the only races on the circuit that Steve David does not have his name on the trophy. He has not won the Gold Cup. He would love to do that here this weekend. On board with our leader, Jimmy Shane, and there in the overhead you see Steve David still right on his hip. David had to adjust his arc a little bit at the apex of that turn, and that worked to Jimmy Shane's advantage. He has opened up a little more of a lead now on Steve David. They are on the backstretch for the second time. And there's the view that Steve David has of the youngster out ahead of him, heading for the Detroit Yacht Club for the second time. Long, low rooster tail off the propeller of the 5 Gram Trucking. A beautiful boat ride. That boat owned by Ted Porter out of Decatur, Indiana. That crew doing a great job and giving Jimmy Shane one of the fastest race boats in the world. Once more through the Rooster Tail turn, and Steve David has not lost any ground in the Oberto. He is still right there. Any kind of a bobble by Jimmy Shane, and Steve David could take over the lead here. He's closer now than he was at the end of the last lap. There's our third place runner, Kip Brown, coming through the turn in the 95 Spirit of Qatar, racing for the entire country over on the Persian Gulf. The white and maroon colors of the flag of Qatar. Mark Evans in the 57 Fedco, racing for a local sponsor here. Our leaders now well ahead of the rest of the field, and Jimmy Shane still with a little bit of an advantage over Steve David in the Oberto. Onto the backstretch. The youngster out of Havre de Grace, Maryland, with the veteran giving chase. Long, low rooster tail, up over 200 miles per hour. The drivers reach tremendous speeds here on this big Gold Cup race course. They also have to negotiate the biggest turn in the entire series and the tightest one. A lot of challenges here for boat and driver. Shane, you can see the yacht club going by to his right, a very, very historic sight there. Shane coming through the turn. One more time, Steve David back just a little bit further than he was last time they came through. Jimmy Shane continues to open up water on Steve David here on the final lap of Heat 3A. David not able to catch him. The advantage on the inside for Shane may be too much to overcome. Good looking boat ride for Kip Brown, but you can see it gets rough back there. Brown gets the white flag, and all the leaders now are on the final lap here of Heat 3A. In search of 400 more points, Jimmy Shane, a perfect weekend so far. In the 5 Ram Trucking, he has opened up some water now on Steve David in the Oh Boy Oberto. Off to their right, you saw Greg Hopp in the 14, the yellow and green boat. He is back a lap, and Shane now has a nice lead as he gets onto the backstretch for the final time. Kip Brown just going into the Belle Isle turn in third place in the 95 Spirit of Qatar. And there you see the lead that Jimmy Shane has, almost a rooster tail. The 5 Gram Trucking leading the Oh Boy Oberto past the Yacht Club for the final time. The short way around the race course on the inside, too big an advantage for Jimmy Shane. Steve David not able to overcome that. Jimmy Shane will negotiate the rooster tail turn for the final time, swinging a little bit wide. The checkered flag comes out. For the second-year driver from Havre de Grace, Maryland, an impressive victory over Steve David in the Oh Boy Oberto. And our top qualifier has yet to win a heat this weekend.
Don't go anywhere. More great racing from Detroit, including the finals, when we come back.
We're allowed to burn 4.1 gallons per minute of kerosene, Jet A. If you burn over that for more than 3 seconds, it can be a monetary fine. A flagrant is where you're over it for 5 seconds and way over it. So we have no idea how much fuel they're burning, but every tenth is another 1,500 horsepower. So we essentially were running like with our hands tied and still ran real tight with them.
Jimmy Shane has been penalized for a fuel violation. The violation and resulting penalty has given David the win and a boost in points. The Detroit River Racecourse, one of the most unique and driver-intensive courses on the circuit. Kip Brown, the driver of the 95 Spirit of Qatar, has a great insight as to what it takes to do a lap around this course.
This place is daunting. There's a ton of pressure, there's a ton of history. You got the Rooster Tail turn, which everybody, knows about. This turn right here is, the highest speed, tightest corner that we run anywhere by a bunch. And so you got to just horse that boat around there, and you got to have a boat that's set up right to get around that. Then you've got halfway down the straightaway, you've got a dog leg. Just past that dog leg at the Whittier Hotel, you've got the Whittier bumps. Then you've got the biggest turn that we run on at the Belle Isle, and it's almost flat. And so you're just running flat out. Your intention is to put some canard into it to keep that boat up and rolling. And sometimes the guys will blow over right there. You're on the fin, you dump some canard into it and you'll blow the thing over because you're going so fast around that turn. Then you've got the DYC dog leg, and then right after that dog leg, you got this line of rollers. Well, the rollers just so happen to upset your boat just right before you get back to this Rooster Tail turn. And so it's a nightmare. You get all these studs out here going, it's a driver's course, it's a driver's course. I can't wait to get out of here.
Heat 4A saw a rematch between Jimmy Shane and veteran Steve David, with David ultimately taking the win. The drivers prepare for the finals of the APBA Gold Cup. Will Steve David finally put his name on the only trophy he has yet to claim? Find out next.
APBA Gold Cup on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by Formula Boats. You've always wanted the best, Formula Boats. And by Peters & May Global Boat Transport, the world's leading boat transport provider.
Steve David and the rest of the H1 Unlimited drivers ready themselves for the 2013 APBA Gold Cup. After all 4 sets of heats have been completed, the leaderboard stands as follows.
15 seconds from the start of the winner-take-all championship final heat. Tom Thompson in the 11 Peters & May out ahead of the field. We have developments already. Neither Jimmy Shane or Steve David will have the inside lane. The white boat, the white and maroon Spirit of Qatar, Kip Brown, has lane 1. Across the line, you saw John Zimmerman leading them all with the outside boat, the 9-team Red Dot, but he has 3 boats to his left. We're on board with Kip Brown. He has lane 1, but he already has Steve David out ahead of him a ways in the Oh Boy Oberto. Jimmy Shane is back between boats, running in 3rd place. Outside, it's John Zimmerman in the 9-team Red Dot. He is 4th as they go on to the backstretch for the first time, and Steve David has already opened up some water on the field, but he's out in lane 3. He has to leave room for the 2 boats to his left. Does not yet have the 7-boat overlap. On the inside, Kip Brown is in 2nd place. Jimmy Shane dropped back just a little bit there into 3rd place, and now it's going to be tight here as they all try to get through this very tight rooster tail turn. Our leader is Steve David, 2 boats in pursuit. Off to his left, there they are, Jimmy Shane now. Maybe a little bit of a lead over Kip Brown, but Brown will have the inside through this turn, and it's going to get very tight in here. Jimmy Shane is in the rooster tail. He had to go through the rooster tail of Steve David's Oh Boy Oberto. Kip Brown looked like he got through there okay on the inside, but you can see he went through a lot of water. Tom Thompson in the 11, Peters & May currently running 5th as John Zimmerman continues to pursue the leaders. He's way on the outside, though, running a big race course in the 9-team Red Dot. Here is the Rooster Tail 55. Mike Webster made the final heat. A good weekend for that man out of Reading, Pennsylvania. Now Jimmy Shane appears to have damage to the front of the 5-gram trucking. He went through the rooster tail and took a real whack in the face there. We believe that his race may be pretty much over, and that's certainly going to be a big story here in this final heat. Steve David has never won in the Gold Cup. Could this be the day? One of the greatest careers in the history of unlimited hydroplane racing. This just about the only trophy missing. He's going to come up the backstretch by the Yacht Club for the 2nd time, and into turn, we have a development. We have a penalty. A penalty has been called on Steve David in the Oh Boy Oberto. Our leader has been set back 1 lap. That puts him at the back of the field. He has called for an encroachment, that very tight turn 2, the first time they came through it. Now these boats are leading the race. That's our leader, the 95 Spirit of Qatar. John Zimmerman is in 2nd place in the 9-team Red Dot. There is damage to the 5-gram trucking. Jimmy Shane just trying to finish. Looked like he would be one of the favorites here, and he will not win the Gold Cup. He's going to try to bring it home and get it to the start-finish line. He still has a long ways to go, though. You can see the front wing of the boat pretty much missing. Tom Thompson is going to swing wide now. He'll go back inside. Nope, he's going to come on the outside of the 5-gram trucking. Tom Thompson coming by. He'll move up a spot into 3rd place in the 11 Peters & May. And here's the leader on the water, who by now has been told by his radio man about the penalty. Here is our race for the Gold Cup. John Zimmerman on the outside in the 9-team Red Dot now takes a little bit of a lead over Kip Brown in the 95 Spirit of Qatar. They have a long ways to go, but what a great boat race for the Gold Cup between the 2 white boats. Kip Brown out of Ravensdale, Washington on the inside. John Zimmerman doesn't live too far away in Maple Valley, Washington. On the outside, he may have a little more boat speed, but Kip Brown has the inside. And look at the 9. Look at the team Red Dot rocket off that turn. Zimmerman into the lead, and that's Kip Brown's view as he sees Zimmerman go by him. Up ahead, you can see the rooster tail of Steve David's Oh Boy Oberto, the leader on the water, but he's back at the back of the field as the result of a penalty. Jimmy Shane keeping the 5 Graham Trucking up and running. Here's our third place boat. Tom Thompson in the 11 Peters and May moves up into third place as a result of the penalty on the leader, Steve David. The Chartreuse and Blue boat could put Thompson on the podium here at the 2013 Gold Cup. The driver out of Cambridge, Maryland, driving for Scott and Shannon Rainey. Out of Edmonds, Washington, now back to the leaders. On the inside, Kip Brown continues to give chase, but John Zimmerman, a little better boat speed on the outside, and Zimmerman now has opened up about 2/3 of a rooster tail on Kip Brown. Brown, though, still maintains lane 1. Zimmerman cannot move over, does not have the overlap. There's the view that Brown has, running right between the buoy line and the rooster tail of Zimmerman's boat into the turn. Zimmerman hit a bit of a bump there. He bobbled a little, and Brown went by him. Now we're coming down to complete lap 4. There'll be just 1 lap to go. They'll come by the ailing 5 Graham Trucking, and Zimmerman once again will move out into the lead on the outside. That boat accelerates very well. Coming off the turn in the bottom of your picture, that's Mike Webster's Rooster Tail 55, dead in the water, had some problems in the engine room. Kip Brown's 95 Spear of the Qatar moving up again on the inside, and he's going to take the lead into the Belle Isle Bridge turn. 3/4 of a lap to the Gold Cup, and the 2 white boats are side by side. Who will win it? Kip Brown on the inside now appears to have the advantage. John Zimmerman in lane 2 with the 9 Team Red Dot, and he's fallen back just a little bit. Kip Brown's Uncle Nate runs this team. His name is on the Gold Cup, as is his late father-in-law, Terry Troxell. Kip Brown needs to hang on to this lead for a half a lap, and he's going to put the 95 Spear of the Qatar in the winner's circle at the 2013 Detroit APBA Gold Cup. He got a little loose right there. Got to get it back on the water. 1 turn to go for the driver out of Ravensdale, Washington. Tiffany, his wife, a very anxious watcher right now, and she can relax as the checkered flag flies for the 2013 Detroit APBA Gold Cup champion, Kip Brown.
And that wraps up this H1 Unlimited stop on the Detroit River, seeing Kip Brown's first time atop the podium.
Can't describe how I'm feeling right now. I'm overwhelmed.
Make sure you join us next week as we head to Tri-Cities, Washington for more action from the H1 Unlimited Tour. For everyone here at CBS Sports, H1 Unlimited, and on behalf of my broadcast partner Steve Montgomery, I'm Rich Hollenberg. See you next week.